Today I'm gonna show you how to build a new LEGO Star Wars MOC inspired by The Mandalorian Season 3 Episode 5. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Here we have one of the latest Star Wars vignettes that I built, the Duel on Mustafar, and today we are gonna build something in a similar scale, maybe slightly bigger. I can bring in the base just to give you a first idea before we build the rest on the scale of these two models. This is gonna be inspired, as I say, by The Mandalorian Season 3 Episode 5, which is Chapter 21, I think. It's not the first Season 3 MOC that I make this year. I actually have also the minifigure habitat with Bo-Katan and Grogu. But now, let's start right away, moving this on the side and get on with the build. So here what I'm gonna build is the Mandalorian coming down on the city of Nevarro that has been invaded by the pirates, and I'm gonna use 3 Mandalorian minifigures that are gonna come here ready to fight on the street of Nevarro. So first, I'm gonna show you here. I decided to go with light gray for the frame instead of black, mostly because I finished most of my black bricks and tiles, but I think these work out pretty well. For the tiling for the street of Nevarro, I decided to just lay bricks sideways. I have a combination of different things. I have slopes, cheese slopes, I have also some rounded tiles, and then I fill the gap with smaller parts and with a few of these plant pieces, like some sort of grass growing from the street. I think it works out pretty well. I didn't pay attention so much on how to do it, but it's a technique that if you have a little bit more time than me and a little bit more patience, you can definitely work it out better than this, maybe using some 1x2 tiles in between the different slopes. But I think for the parts that I have available, I am happy with that. For the buildings, and here we can see already a hint, I'm gonna go with white. It should be also light gray, but I think if I do everything in gray, then there wouldn't be enough contrast and the build wouldn't be interesting, so I decided to go with white. And for the tree over here, that should be actually white. For the same reason, I decided to go with 10. So here we're gonna start to build a sort of big column, a big tower. On the architecture of Nevarro, you can actually find some sort of blue, kind of dusty blue paintings and writings on the wall, so I decided to keep that in mind. This sort of column is inspired by the one at the entrance of the city, where there are actually 2 of these columns. And you can see here I have a few gaps because I'm gonna build a little bit of sideways. So here I'm gonna add a couple of 2x2 squares so that I can add a little bit more blue details and also create a little bit of broken up effect on the top of the column, adding a few different kind of slopes to make this a little bit more interesting. And here I also wanna add a piece that is sort of coming off. So here we have a angle sort of pin, the minifigure stand that I always use, to add over there a slope that is coming like half broken down the column. So I think this is a good start. And before we add the minifigure, we can start to build the building back there. So I think we can start from the corner where I have a lower part of the building. Very simple, very straightforward. I wanted this to be a little bit taller, but these are the only corner parts that I have available in white. And then we are gonna add some slope to frame, let's say, the door. So this is the entrance, let's say, of this building. And we are gonna add the frame of the door. Actually, sorry, this should be a little bit wider. Again, this is the frame of the door. I added some details in dark bluish gray. And then at the back of this, I want to use this blue door that I used, I think, in the past in some other Star Wars build. And to keep it there together, maybe I should show you from the back side, I'm going to use a bracket with a tile. That is going to help me to keep this in position because it's actually not connected. So this is gonna go like this, and then I'm gonna add this tile over here so this bracket with the tile, and now the door is held into position. Now another thing I want to create here on top is to add a sort of cloth cover, and here is what I came up with. This is actually quite big, so I basically put it in between a plate and a tile so that it's held into position, and then I fold it at the back with another brick here to keep it from being seen at the back of the build. So I just need one more slope over here to frame this one, and then this can connect on the top, and this is the cover of the door. So I think it worked out pretty well. Now over here, I don't remember what's the name of those creatures, but we have some creatures that goes under the building and they are very small, and Mando went there to try to fix his droid over there. So here I think I managed to do a small door, a small entrance for the laboratory, the office of these, the store of these small creatures. And then on the side, they have a sort of opening sideways that can be seen in the show. The creature can actually be seen looking outside from that entrance. So I'm using some arches in gray to create that opening, and I think it worked out decently. So over there you can see we have an opening over there and the small door. Let's close it up on top with another few bricks and a few slopes. So now everything is connected there, kept pretty much solid. And then you can see over here on top I started to add a little bit more of this blue writing that I'm gonna continue all the way till the end with some sideways build, and then I'm gonna connect everything on top with some white tiles. So here the building is completed. I wanted to add Grogu actually here in the space for this creature because I don't have anything to for recreate them, but I think, I don't know if I can show you on camera, but like this maybe you cannot actually see Grogu properly, but it can feel like if there is a one little creature looking out from that window, from that opening. Now before we add the tree, let's add a little bit of details. I have this piping sort of thing that is from the Obi-Wan Kenobi set, another similar thing over here, one crate here on the left, and then we are gonna add some other barrel sort of things over here on the Street of Nevarro. This is a piece of pottery that comes from the later CMF minifigure. Another barrel at the back there, and maybe some broken up pieces that has been falling down the column. Now we can start to add the Mandalorian. So we have a brown one here. These Mandalorians, they all came from a sort of battle pack a couple of years ago. For this one I want to create a sort of kneeling position hiding behind the barrels. So we have a stud there to which I connect only one leg, and then with this minifigure stand I'm gonna slide into there and then try to find a little bit of balance over the leg. If I push it a little bit too hard it's gonna fall off, but I think it gives a good idea of a kneeling pose. Also at the back for the jetpack I'm using these binoculars that I think in scale they work very very well for Mandalorians. Now we're gonna add one more Mandalorian at the end, but first let's build a tree. As I say, I told you I'm gonna build it in 10. So what I have here is the trunk with a few slopes coming on the side. I try to add here this headpiece because it's the same color. I thought it looked nice, but actually it's gonna be all covered so nobody can see that. On these trees we also had some creatures in the show, but I didn't find any parts available in my collection to recreate that. Here a little bit of details in Nougat, and here I can give you another closer look at how the branches look with different kind of slopes. Again, one minifigure stand, transparent here so I can angle the leaf pieces. I'm gonna connect these over here Let's see if I can do this without dropping any other leaves, and we can twist this a little bit. So now the tree is completed. Let's put this one back in its position. Hopefully it will not fall over 100 times. And then the last one is a flying Mandalorian that is coming down on the street of Navarro with his jetpack firing. So I use a transparent part to connect to his leg. I had to use a bigger jetpack here to get the two sort of flame coming down, and then here I have another of those transparent minifigure stand to which I can connect this one to an interesting angle flying down the street of Navarro. So guys, here is my latest build. Let me know what you think. I can show you also a comparison inside with the finished model between this and the Mustafar Duel. I know I had to make some compromise here in terms of parts, in terms of color, but you know, I always want to make something new, two new builds every week on my channel. So sometimes I make it a little bit smaller, I compromise a little bit, but I always bring you something new to watch. Let me know what you think about this one, and if you enjoy watching The Mandalorian, I recommend you to check out my Bo-Katan and Grogu minifigure habitat. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for the next videos, and I will see you on the next one. Ciao ciao!